For Tuesday, February 17th, call the meeting to order at 8:31 a.m. Everybody has a agenda in front of us. Can I have a motion to approve agenda, or does anybody have anything to add? No? Motion to approve. Councillor Cunningham.
If there's nothing to add to the agenda, I will make a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026.
All those in favor? Motion carried. 1.2, approval of minutes from December 2nd, 2025. Everybody have a chance to read those? Any errors or corrections? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve said minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of the December 2nd meeting.
All those in favor? Carried. Number 2, new business, 2.1, Bylaw 1911, Community Aggregate Payment Levy.
Good morning, Council. Good morning. I bring you today Bylaw 1911, the Community Aggregate Payment Levy, also known as the CAP Levy for short. This is a bylaw that was ratified in May 2025 and implemented, implementation of this program was to begin in 2026 to allow operators adequate time to adjust their reporting systems. The reporting requirements include quarterly submissions. So the first reports are due in April of 30th, 2026. The CAP levy is a provincially regulated tool that allows municipalities to collect revenue from private sand, gravel, and pit run operators. This CAP levy applies to 5 privately owned pits in Kneehill County. There's 3 gravel and 2 sand operations in Kneehill County. Administration cannot accurately estimate the revenue this program may generate because we do not know the annual tonnage that will be shipped from the 5 pits located in the county. Kurt Bauer, who is one of our gravel operators, was present at the January 13th council meeting as a delegation, and he asked for council to repeal this bylaw. The only way to repeal an existing bylaw is with another bylaw. If council was interested in repealing this bylaw, a motion could be made today that the Committee of the Whole recommend to council to approve a repealing bylaw to repeal Bylaw 1911 at a future council meeting. Attached to this report is Bylaw 1911 and the Community Aggregate Payment Levy regulation from the province. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any comments? Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I'm more in favor to getting rid of this tax on our people. That's, to me, that's all this is. And for the generation of revenue for what little it would be, we'd spend more money, which we don't want to do with staff trying to chase it down and work it. So my thought is that we repeal this bylaw.
Any other comments, concerns?
I agree with Lonnie McCook. We're in a community that's short on gravel and sand and stuff like that. We have to purchase it to get it for our own needs. Why do we have a tax on people that will alleviate those things?
Okay. Any other comments, concerns? Councillor Cunningham.
So everybody's probably heard my comments loud and clear from last term to this term, but my feeling was last term administration felt that council had asked them to find new ways to generate revenue in Kneehill County. For me personally, this is not the way I want to generate new revenue, is just finding a new tax for existing ratepayers. We talked a lot about, we didn't know the cost that we were going to, what it was going to cost the county to implement this levy versus, cost versus what we were going to actually receive. We just don't know that. If we were Rocky View County or Mountain View County or some of the other counties, I totally could see legitimacy of this, but for us personally, I just don't I don't see it, so.
Any other comments? Counselor Whitstock?
I've given quite a bit of thought to this, and I do see it as a tax, although it's taxing the people that are actually purchasing the gravel or sand, because it's going to be passed on regardless of, but I don't really see a whole lot of opportunity here, let's put it that way. And I think it's probably better off to leave our own that Kneehill County employees, not employees, but residents in a situation where they don't have to pay for something that ultimately is not going to generate a whole lot of revenue to us. So I'm good either way on this.
All right, Counselor Cunningham.
So if there's no further comments, I'll make the motion that the committee of the whole recommend to council to approve repealing bylaw to repeal bylaw 1911 community aggregate payment levy at the next council meeting.
Any other comments or concerns, questions? All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to 2.2, draft road committee policy.
Thank you, council. So today I'm bringing forward the draft road committee policy for council's consideration. Attached to this agenda item is the draft version of this policy. This document was developed in collaboration with Reeve McCook, and its structure and approach have been intentionally modeled after the Black Dirt Trail Task Force terms of reference. The intent was to ensure consistency with an established and familiar framework while clearly outlining the purpose, roles, and expectations of the road committee. The draft is being presented to council for review and discussion, and I welcome any feedback or direction council may have.
Perfect, thank you. Any comments, concerns, or questions? Councilor McCook.
Yeah, I think this looks okay. It can be a living document. It can be changed at any time. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. It's just the road committee is just based it's just a committee that answers to council, and it's one that's been around for a long time, and it's good for everybody to actually get out and have a look at stuff that's been done or hasn't been done, and gives everybody an idea what the county's all about.
Okay, excuse me, thank you. I like the policy myself. It's pretty simple so that it's easy to understand and not too in-depth. I'm all right with this. Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none?
I guess I have to say, having had input into a situation that is occurring in our area and seeing the working together and less top-heavy method, I gotta support what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Whitstock, go ahead.
I guess my comment to it, we are not giving direction with this road committee. All we are doing is twice a year traveling different sites and doing what? Just looking, or actually, what is it that we're going to do with this road committee?
I guess for myself, it would be bringing our ratepayer concerns to the table. I've got in my area quite a few concerns that have been, for example, there's road signs that are covered by trees and the trees are overgrown the road, and it's been that way for 10 years. And it hasn't been either addressed or brought up to the table. So for us to drive around and see these issues so that we can have a list of tasks for administration to disperse amongst employees, is my thought.
Okay, so what we're doing is we are giving direction to the CAO to give, I'm not sure who's in charge of those employees, but to take care of signage issues. I'm just trying to figure out what it is we're actually, I mean, if we're not given direction, we're driving around looking at stuff, then we are giving direction in the end, or like, I don't, I know when I first got on council, yes, we had a road committee and we did it for, I think, about 2 years. Not even sure if we did it the second year, but it became, I don't know. It's just one of those things that we have employees that take care of this. And I guess if we have employees that are being told that this is an issue and it's not being taken care of, maybe we should find out who is actually supposed to be taking care of it and why it hasn't been taken care of. But that has got to go through our CAO, and for us to drive around looking for trouble, basically, I guess is what we're doing. I don't see that as being, well, anyway, I don't like the idea of the road tour, but that's fine. That's just me. So I just wanted to know what it was that, what was going to be happening. So if we're driving around looking for trouble and then reporting it to the CAO, I guess that's what it is.
Councillor McCook.
It says right in there that we don't have, the road committee doesn't have any authority to direct staff. It also is bringing back information to the council at a council meeting. And I mean, I've seen it before where we need to go out, we should be looking at stuff that has been a concern or a problem that isn't getting addressed, and we bring it back to council. I mean, this is directed through council to have a look at stuff, and it just keeps everybody on their toes and council knowing what's happening out there.
Okay, any other comments, concerns? What direction would council like to proceed with? Councillor Cunningham.
So I see this as another set of eyes on the roads. I know last term there was a division that had some road concerns, and maybe they didn't, ratepayers didn't quite see eye to eye with their councillor on that specific area. So I think just to have different sets of eyes, and like we said, it's not, this committee is not approving the work, it's bringing it back to council. And I think we all know that as municipal councillors, we always say we're the government most close to the people, and I think this is just another way for our folks to know that we're not just sitting here around the council table, we're actually out there, we're looking at our roads, and we're invested in our county. So with that being said, I'll make the motion that the committee of whole recommend to council to approve council policy 3-5, road committee policy as presented.
I'll bring this policy back for council to a future council meeting for you to ratify.
Okay, any other concerns, comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Rolling right along. 2.3, procedural bylaw review.
Now we get into the fun stuff. So if you can go to page 26 of the package, that'd be great. So I just broke down so council provided me some of their changes that they wanted to see or have conversations with. And so I broke it down to each section, and so we can just go through each one at a time, or if council has another idea, I'm open to any suggestions, but we'll start with the first one, which was the definitions of quorum. In our current procedural bylaw, we didn't actually have a definition for committee of the whole quorum, so, which would be the same as council, so I just needed to insert committee of the whole into that definition. So that was one change. I don't know if you want to discuss it, or if you want to change what the quorum is for committee of the whole. And then the next one is number 3D in the procedure bylaw, which is the definition of the reeve. And we've had discussions about this before, about the reeve being able, or the chair making motions during council. And the MGA does not prohibit the chair making motions. So we might want to change the definition of this to include that. Any discussion on that?
Councillor Cunningham.
So the timing on this was actually excellent. I just finished elected officials course on effective meetings, and this actually was brought up in the course, and the instructor said, as you mentioned, Ms. Vanderkool, that there's nothing, if it's not in your procedural bylaw and the MGA doesn't speak to it, and Robert's Rules of Orders actually doesn't prohibit the chair of the meeting from making a motion as well. So if we did want it, he was very clear that you would have to have that within your procedural bylaw. But, I mean, I guess that would just be a conversation around the table as if we don't. But for me personally, I believe the reeve or deputy reeve should be able to make a motion. So, but I guess to make it very clear, we could add it into that portion and say that they do have the ability to do it, I think is what I hear you saying. Yeah.
It just makes it clear. Makes the procedure bylaw more clear for everybody to understand.
Perfect. Yeah.
You're good with that? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Councillor Whitstock.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me whether or not the reeve makes a motion. I was just under the impression best practices, amount of meetings that I've been to, the best practices is that the reeve strictly chair the meeting, keep everyone engaged, make sure that all views are heard. And one of the things is preferably not make motions, but I mean, if we want to have the reeve make motions, it's all right with me. I don't care. But as long as it's, I guess as long as it's in the procedural bylaw that states that the reeve is allowed to make motions, I'll be fine with that.
Okay, thank you.
So the next point is number 7, which is under regular meetings of council. And I just want to include under number 5, because it does state that all regular meetings of council shall commence at 8:30. But one meeting out of the year is our organizational meeting that we actually start after the organizational meeting is finished. So we can't really start that one at 8:30. So I just wanted to put a note there in number 5 that except for the regular council meeting held on the same day as the organizational meeting, shall commence immediately following the conclusion of the organizational meeting. So,
Okay.
yeah, so the
Perfect,
next
yep.
point is 10.2, which is organizational meeting, and removing council holds an annual organizational meeting pursuant to section 192.1 of the MGA, because this statement is unnecessary as the matter is already addressed under statement 10.3. So it's written there twice, so we'll just remove that one, if that's okay. And then 10.8, again, under organizational meeting, remove all councillors before being appointed to a council committee or board must sign a statement of code of ethics and conduct form that is attached to the adopted councillor code of conduct and ethics bylaw. We don't have a councillor code of conduct bylaw anymore, so that statement is just going to be removed from our procedural bylaw. And then number 11-1, under committee of the whole, what are we changing here? Oh, so the purpose of the cow should reflect the expanded government's expectations. So we adopted a governance model policy last year, and our definition in our procedure bylaw doesn't actually align with our governance model. So we need to change this to corresponds with our governance model.
Counselor McCook.
Yeah, in saying that, I'm of the opinion, I'm not sure we need a governance model. I don't know what you guys think. I've read it and gone through it. It doesn't align. There's nowhere in the Municipal Government Act that says we need one.
That is correct. Some of the statements in the governance model does not align with our procedure bylaw, so that is one way that we could, if you are not interested in the governance model, we can bring that back for removal, and then we can just leave the committee of the whole definition statement in our procedure bylaw the same.
Okay, any other thoughts? Counselor Cunningham.
So the governance model was a little bit of a source of contention with me last term. I think it was the September 23rd meeting, 2025. My thoughts on that meeting when we spoke of the governance model was to leave it for the new council. It was discussed the success of the governance model relies on the buy-in of the council, and unfortunately at that time we only had one meeting left. So I also felt, as Ms. Vanderkoel stated as well, there's some contradictory terminology within the two, and my thoughts were they really have to marry each other, or else there really isn't success with either document. So I am quite happy as well to make a motion to rescind the Kneehill County governance model.
Okay.
So going on to, if there's no other further discussion on that, we can go on to 11.2, still again under committee of the whole, and there was certain discussion on that with the statement that no formal decision will be made at committee of the whole meetings. Recommendations of the committee of the whole shall be voted at a future council meeting. And I think a councillor wanted more authority at the committee of the whole meeting for councillors to make decisions. But according to the MGA section, council is the only body that can exercise municipal authority. The MGA is explicit that only council acting as council can make decisions on behalf of the municipality. And when you're acting as a committee members, you can only, you cannot make decisions formally. You have to bring them back to a committee council meeting for ratification. So this one, I know this somebody, like one councillor wanted to bring this up, but it cannot be changed.
Okay. Makes sense. I guess, yeah, if there's no comments, concerns, pretty straightforward.
So the next comment is, section is 11.3A, again, still under committee of the whole. The council committee of the whole may make motions for the following purposes: for procedural purposes, adopting agenda and previous committee of the whole minutes, and adjourning the meeting. And I actually crossed out adjourning the meeting because later on in the procedural bylaw, we will be going, talking about making a motion to adjourn the meeting. So if you, the chair does not have the independent authority to adjourn a meeting unless the procedural bylaw explicitly allows it. So going in, I think, what is it?
Number 31.
Number 21, when we're talking about agenda preparation and motions. Adjournment, yeah, that's when we'll talk about, and 31, motion to adjourn, that's exactly. We'll be talking about that. But so going back, like, I hate going backwards when we're going forwards, but but that statement will need to be, if we do change that to make a motion to it, that we don't have to have a motion to adjourn, that that will be taken out of 11.3A, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so the thought is to take it out?
The thought is that we were going to remove the part that we're going in number section, well, might as well just go there right now. Section 31, motion to adjourn. So a motion to adjourn is to bring a meeting to an end. Oh, shoot. Point 21. Yeah, exactly. So that's, we won't need a motion. If we change our procedure bylaw, we won't need a motion to adjourn anymore. We actually haven't been following that in our procedures anyways. We've just been, the chair has just been adjourning the meeting without a motion. So what I'm saying here in 11-3, in the committee, the council and the committee can only make the following motions is for procedural purposes. So adopting the agenda and approving the previous council committee of the whole minutes. So, and we're going to remove the part that adjourning the meeting. So you can't make a motion to adjourn the meeting in the committee of the whole.
Okay.
That was a lot of words,
Good
sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're just going to remove that part.
Councillor Whitstock, go ahead.
My theory is all we're doing is at the end of the meeting, when the business is done, whoever's chairing the meeting basically just says adjourned, and there is no motion for adjourned. You just
Correct.
state,
That's
meeting is
correct.
adjourned.
Correct, yeah. Meeting is
And
adjourned.
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the way we've been running it for quite a while, so,
Yeah.
or when I was, yeah. So that's good with me.
Councillor Cunningham, go ahead.
So just clarity for me, because it's, too early on after a long weekend, but, so the only time that we would need a motion is if the Reeve or Deputy Reeve is chairing the meeting and they decide that they're tired and they're ready to go home. If there's business that hasn't been completed, then they would have to have a motion of council to adjourn the meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's the
thank
only
you.
time that we need a motion
Okay.
to adjourn the meeting, if
Thank
the
you.
agenda has not been completed.
Thank you.
There's a couple of other things, and I haven't got to it, but it's like if we're in an emergency and we have to run out of council chambers, you don't need a motion to adjourn.
You're right.
Yeah, there was another thing I don't know where it is. Okay,
Okay, continue.
We'll get
Thank you.
there, though.
Yep.
so we're on 11-11-4 now, still under Committee of the Whole. The meetings of the Committee of the Whole shall be open to the public unless the committee moves into closed session, which complies with the MGA Section 197-2. So again, these things were brought to my attention that we might want to close the Committee of the Whole to the open to the public, but we cannot do that. According to Section 197 of the MGA, council and committee meetings may close the only way we can close a meeting is if we're speaking in closed session. And there's certain parts of the ATIA Act that we can go into closed session for.
Okay. One question I had is, do we need to be changing FOIP to
Yes.
ATIA?
Yeah,
Yes.
and that, I think that's coming up too.
Sure.
But
Councillor.
actually, the MGA still actually states the FOIP Act in it.
Right.
They haven't changed their language yet.
Councillor McCook?
Yeah, one of the questions I had on this is, like, when we have council of the whole, I was under the impression that at one time that it wasn't in camera, it wasn't in the public. It was just a place for a meeting of council where it could be informal. That's not true, or hasn't been true.
No, they've
So-
always been an open meeting.
So basically, all this is just another council meeting that we can't vote on. Is what COW is about.
Yep, but there's lots of reasons to have a cow, because if you want to have some delegations come in, it's for informational purposes and for discussion on future policies and bylaws that you might want to discuss.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's basically just another council meeting, is what it is. So, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next page. 11-8, so still under Committee of the Whole. Regular Committee of the Whole meetings will be held at 8:30 in council chambers. This was all highlighted as well to review. I don't know if council wishes to change the time of the Committee of the Whole meetings.
I'm fine with starting at 8:30. It's, with my hectic schedule, when I know that I have to be here at 8:30 for every event, that works. When it changes, then it messes with my mind, so I'm fine with 8:30.
Me too.
Counselor McCook?
8:30 is good.
Perfect. Awesome. Going on to 13.2B, closed session. So this is the one we're talking about changing the language of to where it says the FOIP Act, we're going to change that to the Access to Information Act.
Perfect.
14.5, meetings by electronic means. This was highlighted as well as that council wanted to discuss. And it's in regards to council and committee members may attend closed session by electronic means for council and committee meetings if they are participating in the meeting electronically in accordance with this bylaw. So council wanted to discuss if when you are attending by electronic means, if you are allowed, or if you should still continue to be able to go into closed session. So that I put in on the side the advantages and disadvantages of attending, if you're attending by electronic means in closed session. So the advantages are a continuity of governance, allows council and committee business to proceed when members cannot attend in person due to illness, travel, emergencies, reduces the risk of meeting being canceled, improve quorum and participation, supports quorum in closed session matters, particularly for smaller councils or committees, and ensures members can participate fully in confidential discussions rather than being excluded. Modern and flexible governance reflects modern meeting practices and aligns with electronic participation already permitted in open meetings. But the disadvantages of it is confidential and privacy risks, increased risk that confidential information could be overheard, recorded, or compromised if the participant's physical environment is not secure. Administration has limited ability to verify who else may be present off camera. Reduced transparency and control. Harder for the chair to ensure strict compliance with closed session rules. More difficult to manage document handling, screen sharing, or secure distribution of confidential materials. Risk of technical failures, connectivity issues, audio problems, or dropped connections can disrupt sensitive discussions. Technical disruptions may result in partial information being heard or missed, affecting fairness and decision-making, and perception of informality. Closed sessions are intended to be tightly controlled. Electronic participation may give the perception that confidential matters are being handled less rigorously and can raise public trust concerns if not clearly regulated.
Okay, any discussion on the matter? Councillor McCook?
Yeah, I've had a few ratepayers, and I'm also in belief of it too. I don't think that if it's a closed session and you're on the with the electronic devices, I don't think you should be in that meeting. It does perceive as a perception of there could be other things going on, and like I said, I've only had about 3 ratepayers talk to me about this one. So, but my own personal belief is that if we're in closed session, I don't think if you're electronically addressing the council, you need to be in there on that closed session.
Councillor Whitstock?
Well, electronic communication, being able to input the meeting electronically has been allowed for quite a while. It did change in COVID times when the MGA stated that, yes, now you would be able to participate in closed session electronically just because of the way things were going through COVID. So that is when it changed. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't trust the person that is participating electronically, that's kind of too bad because, I mean, we on council are all under the same regulations and the rules and what have you, and closed session, number one, we're not allowed to share that with anyone in the room, any place we are. As far as thinking that there's delegation or whoever sitting on the other side of this laptop that I have right now that are participating and listening to the closed session portion of a meeting, I think that would mean that you don't trust the person that's actually participating in the closed session. I personally, well, you can trust that there's no one around when I'm in closed session. And as far as somebody hearing it inadvertently, generally, when you're well away from the county, pretty much anybody that might inadvertently hear what's going on in closed session, I don't think they really care and they don't know what's going on. So I don't see that as being an issue, but again, that is a council decision. And as far as I'm concerned, I make sure that no one is even in close proximity when I'm in a closed session meeting. So just to let you know, I guess.
Okay, any other comments, concerns? Counselor Cunningham.
I hate to have to do this because I know we don't like to do it a lot, but I would like to make a motion to move into closed session, harmful to personal privacy. I don't have my sheet in front of me. I'm not sure. ATIA section.
20 or 21.
Is it 20?
20 or 21. Probably 20.
That's what I thought.
Isn't it?
I just don't have mine in front.
Disclosure harmful to personal privacy, section 20.
Okay, section 20, please.
Move into closed session at 9:09 a.m. Carried. Take a 2-minute recess to allow the public to come back in. We'll resume the meeting. Carry on. Thank you.
All right, so our next point in our procedure bylaw is discussing, does council wish to set a number of how many times a member can participate by meetings by electronic means? So right now, it currently states that it is encouraged that physical attendance at meetings occur regularly. However, there is no limit to the number of times a member of council may participate electronically in a meeting.
Okay, any discussion? Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I think there should be a limit here. I mean, it just doesn't, I don't know what the number is, 2 or 3, but there should be a number. We should be setting some procedure out on this.
Okay, Councillor, just before you start, Councillor Whitstock, I believe before COVID, it used to be 3, correct?
Oh,
No, go ahead, Councillor Whitstock.
No, there was never a limit set on the amount of times you can participate. Encouragement, there was encouragement to participate in person. And by all means, I mean, I'm not going to be in Kneehill County sitting in my living room or office area and participating electronically, but if I am away from the county, yes, I would like to have the privilege of being part of the meeting electronically. I mean, I'm in a secure location. And as long as my connection, that was one of the things that we were really worried about, was the speeds and the ability for the connection to be not secure, but to be reliable. So there's no interference with the council meeting itself. So we're not bouncing in and out. We're not having problems with video, audio, that kind of stuff. Background noise should not be an issue. So ultimately what it came down to, be as respectful as you can when you are on electronic communication, and there was never any sort of number that I mean, why would you like a limit? I guess is where I'm going with it. It's what is the point of a limit?
Councillor McCook?
Well, I guess one thing that I've heard from my ratepayers is that, I guess you could go on vacation the whole winter and be a counselor down down south and, attend all the meetings through, electronic devices.
Okay, well then I could see where you'd want to limit two electronic communications in a row, two electronic council meetings in a row. Would that be 2 or 3? I don't know. Like, I can see if you want to make that an issue. I have never been gone for more than, well, I work my time away. I work it so that I don't miss council meetings. I know I will be missing the next council meeting because I am going to be in the air coming home. Just because of the way the flights were and all that kind of stuff. But that being said, when you own property away, there's always things that come up and there's always things that need to be done. Like currently I'm in LA, but I'm going to have to get back to Arizona probably first part of March because we have some construction stuff going on there. And I mean, it's no different doing construction at home than it is doing construction at your other residence. So, I mean, if you want to limit to say that you can't be away for 3 consecutive council meetings, I mean, sure, if you want to put a limit like that, I could probably go with that limit. But as far as saying limit it to 2 in a year or 3 in a year, I'm totally against that because that just doesn't work.
Thank you. And I do believe the intent of this was in a row, not limit for the year. And that's what I was asking you earlier. I think there used to be years ago, kind of when Zoom first came out, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think what that was is you weren't allowed to miss 3 council meetings in a row, and that was the MGA regulation.
Okay, maybe that's.
And that's why it was brought in that electronic means would actually have you participating in the meeting, so that if something inadvertently happens, that you can actually participate in the meeting. So, but yeah, I mean, if you want to make it so that you can't attend 3 council meetings in a row through electronic means, I'm good with that limit. That's not a problem with me.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I think the perception is that that's what it is. It's in a row. But I do believe the number, like whether it's 2 or 3, I'm more leaning like 2. I don't know what other councillors' thoughts are on that.
Councillor Cunningham.
So to administration, I'm just curious, and we kind of did a little bit of chatter about this at the course I was in, but are you finding, like, I know a lot of this was put in place during COVID so people could participate if they weren't well or whatever, but are you seeing other municipalities make a change in this kind of policy, or is this all kind of still pretty new?
What was different with other municipalities compared to our municipality during COVID was most of those council meetings, all council attended them virtually, where ours actually attended in person, with the option of attending electronically if they were not feeling well or didn't want to be exposed to any, if they had concerns with their health and they didn't want to be exposed to anything. Right now, I do believe that a lot of municipalities do allow attending by electronic means. But I would have to research what the percentage is.
Okay, thank you. Going forward, would the direction from council like to change that to 2 or 3 times in a row? Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I'm at 2.
Councillor Cunningham.
A question for me too is, are we going to make a differentiation between maybe being away or maybe being ill, right? Because I know, there's been, I've talked to some other municipalities that they've had, maybe council members that are having cancer treatment or whatever that are happy, more comfortable to be at home. So I don't know, would we want to make that? I know we have a couple council members right now that are away on holidays that just said they chose not to participate, online, that they felt they were on holidays. But, so I just wonder if there would need to be a difference between holidays versus an illness.
You might want to discuss the next topic, which is 14.9, which is a member of council, except for the chair of the meeting, may participate in a meeting through electronic means if the member is in a location outside of Kneehill County for any reason. B, the member is in a location within Kneehill County but is unable to attend the meeting for personal or family reasons but desires to participate in the meeting electronically. Or C, if that location is able to support its use, ensuring that all council members participating in the meeting are able to communicate effectively. Or D, the location is secure, appropriate for council interaction and public viewing, and free from outside distractions. So A and B, you might want to define that better to be able to answer the question of how many in a row.
Okay. Do you wish to proceed with a number or think about it more until we reach the end of this document? Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I'm still good at 2. And I mean, the next one covers incidentals, if somebody's sick or something. I mean, it's common sense, but I think we do have to have a number.
Okay. Councillor Whitstock.
So I'm just trying to figure out why there's a limit of 2. I would be more in support of a limit of 3. And I'm just trying to figure out why 2 would be the magic number, I guess.
I guess for myself, that's a month. I mean, unless you're sick, perception is if somebody's gone for more than a month, it's ratepayers look at it as a negative perception, and we want to make sure that we're representing our communities the best we can. And I guess from what I've heard from my ratepayers, I know you're doing your best, and you're always available whenever, a ratepayer would call. Doesn't matter who it is away, but sometimes other ratepayers may take that as well. He's unavailable, he or she is unavailable when they are away, but it's just a perception, in my opinion.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I have way better conductivity, and I'm just speaking for my other residents in Arizona. I have way better phone conductivity. Everything works regardless of there's dead spots in the county where I can't even make a phone call or keep losing reception. So to say that you're not able to communicate as well when you're away, that's a fallacy. And to say that we don't have ratepayers in our county that actually do go away for 4 or 5 months, whatever, through the winter, I'd be happy to be. I'm not telling them what to do. As far as them saying that you're away too long and you can't get your job done, I'm sorry, the job is still being done through all the electronic means that we have right now. And I can see if you were away and you weren't being able to communicate with anyone, that's a little different. But if you have that ability, I can't see why all of a sudden, well, it sounds more like, well, I'm not going to say it, but sounds more like I don't like the idea of you being away because I can't be away. So regardless, I would much prefer 3. That gives a little bit of latitude there.
Councillor Cunningham.
Ms. Vandergoat, can you remind me, in our procedural bylaw currently, there's a statement that says something along the lines of we encourage participation in person, but if not, so I guess to me, that's why we would put a limit on it, because we had that, like, yes, we want you here in person, but, so I mean, well, what's the but gonna be? And I guess we have to make a decision on that.
So that would be section 14A. It is encouraged that physical attendance at meetings occurs regularly. And then there's a however. There is no limit to the number of times a member of council may participate electronically in a meeting. But I can, what you're saying is that maybe taking that however part off of there and put under number 9, a member of council, except for the chair of the committee, may participate in a meeting through electronic means if A, the member is in a location outside of Kneehill County for any reason with a limit of 2, 3 times in a row. Maybe that's how you, because if they're sick, obviously you want to, and they're in Kneehill County, that you feel that is fine to do.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other comments? I think we'd be willing to make those changes. And I guess with the number, I would feel more comfortable making that final decision with our remaining 2 counselors in the room at that time, so we can maybe make those changes once they come back, bring this back to next council when both members are here. Okay, thank you.
So we kind of talked a little bit about 14.9. Does also council want to limit, we actually discussed this, so I think this is what we said we're going to put a limit of how many times they can participate when they're outside of Kneehill County. Are you guys all fine with that? Okay. So for 14, still under meetings by electronic means, to participate in a meeting through electronic means, a member must notify the chair and CEO as soon as they are aware of their need to participate electronically. Does council want to change this of how the process is? It was highlighted as a concern, so this is why I've added it on to the schedule.
The only question I had is, what if I don't notify? What happens to me?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a code of
No.
conduct, so you know what happens to me if I don't notify
That's
the
a very
reeve?
good point.
You know?
Well, then you don't get a code and then you can't participate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Then you can't attend electronically.
Great.
But it is easier for administration if we do know ahead of time.
Correct.
So we can send out the codes
Yeah.
earlier.
For me, it's a courtesy thing that you let your fellow counselors know that you're not gonna be around, even if, you know, or the CAO at least, so that we can plan. Counselor McCook?
Yeah, I think this can stay in with that, as, the way it is. I'd like to see that if you're gonna be away or whatever, like, all of a sudden it comes into our calendars too. That's helpful. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you. Oh, Counselor Cunningham?
Yeah, just to kind of follow up on that, I mean, for me, I mean, I think we've all seen Ms. Vanderkool and Mr. Nyman working very feverishly to make sure everything's good before the start of the meeting. So, yeah, I think it's just to make sure they have time to get one or two or whoever it may be online electronically. And then I think was it not in our current procedure about letting the CAO know or the chair know that you wouldn't be attending a meeting? Is that somewhere in our procedure bylaw, or am I just dreaming that? It's entirely possible.
If you're not going to attend a
Yes.
meeting at all?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to go look.
Okay.
I think it was just by electronic means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I did dream that then, okay. Because for me, like, it's just, you know, we've got a unique situation happening now where we've got, you know, 3 people away currently. So I think if there was just something, like Deputy Reeve Hoppin said, like, so we know ahead of time who's kind of going to be gone. Like I kind of mentioned jokingly, not jokingly, none of us could be sick today, or we might not make quorum depending on where we're at. So I would just like to see something in there just to, and thought I read it somewhere, but it's entirely possible I didn't, but just to put something in that procedure bylaw to make sure council members let the CEO or chair know that they won't be attending.
I've added that. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll make it known I'm not attending the next council meeting because I'm in the air.
Perfect, thank you. We'll make a note of that.
So the next item is 15.1, recording and live streaming of meetings. So council special, committee of the whole, public hearings and organizational meetings, and all other meetings may be recorded and or live streamed to the public with the exception of closed sessions. I've listed here the advantages and disadvantages. I don't know if you want me to go through them or if you just want to read them on your own. But does council wish to change what is live streamed and recorded?
Any comments, concerns? I think we've all seen the benefits and the downfall of recording live meetings. There's more benefits. In my mind, it shows our public that we are open and transparent, and our watching numbers have increased drastically. I talked to somebody from Calgary the other day that said they watched, so it's kind of interesting. Councillor Cunningham.
So just a question on 15 there. I know there's been a bit of conversation about potentially MPC moving to a live stream. I guess when it says, and all other meetings may be recorded, if we chose to do that, then there would be no change to the procedure bylaw because it's already in there.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing none, we can continue.
All right, on to 16.1, agenda preparation and disbursement. The preparation and distribution of a regular council meeting, special council meeting, organizational meeting, and committee of the whole meeting agendas will be the responsibility of the CAO or designate. That was highlighted as well. Does council want to change the responsibility for agenda preparation from the CAO or designate to the Reeve or Deputy Reeve? Many municipalities actually use a shared model, which balances leadership and administration. The CAO or designate shall be responsible for preparing and distributing council and committee agendas in consultation with the Reeve and Deputy Reeve. Benefits of this shared model is that it maintains administrative oversight and legislative compliance. It preserves elected official input and leadership, reduces risk of politicalization or procedural error, and encourages collaboration rather than role overlap.
Okay, Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that the CAO, Reeve, and Deputy Reeve should be setting the agenda. And it's just a better setting, the way I feel, to bring forth stuff to council that we need to discuss and/or recommend stuff to the CAO.
Okay. I like the concept of the shared model myself. And I was thinking about this the other day. It would give us, or the Reeve, or a bit of an opportunity if there's something that council has discussed that's a little more top priority, we might be able to add it. And I know our CAO is open to suggestions and changes, so I would be in favor of a shared model as well. Any other concerns? Councillor Cunningham.
Yeah, not so much a concern. I know in the discussion last year on the governance model, I believe Red Deer County has a committee, like an agenda creation committee. I wasn't as crazy about that because to me, I know sometimes I have ratepayers say, well, you folks always have meetings before the meeting. So to me, having, you know, a collection of, I can't remember if it was 4 with Red Deer County or I can't remember the exact number, but to me, it did feel a little bit like a meeting before a meeting, and also maybe that then the council members that weren't part of that committee, I think it would be hard to feel like you were involved in that. So that being said, I like this idea of the CEO and the Reeve and Deputy Reeve, or one of each, or depending on schedules or whatever. I think it's, like you say, we know kind of what's the timely topics and we're hearing from the public. So I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to bring that forward.
Any other concerns? Comments? Okay, just one other quick question while we're on the, oh, go ahead, Councillor Woodstock.
Yeah, I guess I don't really have a concern who's involved in the agenda. We still have the ability as council to bring forward something that we feel is important through the additions to the agenda portion of the meeting. So I don't have an issue with it, I guess, because each one of us as council members has the ability to bring stuff forward that we see timely and that we seem to think is important to get done through that meeting. So as long as that part stays, I'm fine with it.
Okay, good comment, thank you. The only addition would be if we need the staff time to prepare something, some sort of documentation or stats or anything, this would give them a little bit more time if it was a little further in depth.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, because sometimes when you bring something forward and in the addition to the agendas, staff is I'll sideswipe because they don't have any information to present for that. So it'll be up to the member that brings that brings that motion forward to be prepared to have some sort of information involved. But other than that, it could be a motion to bring forward at the next council meeting. So that gives staff the opportunity also.
Certainly.
Council also has the ability to create a notice of motion if they want something added to the agenda.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. One other comment I had, and I know it can be timely, tight. Is there any way we can get the council package sooner than Thursday? And the reason I ask is I had somebody call me about an agenda item and I hadn't even seen the package yet, so I didn't have time to answer or prepare, so they kind of caught me off guard, which makes me do my job a little hard, or do it a little better. But yeah, if we could get it a little sooner than Thursday, that would be great.
Sure. How many days before the council meeting would you like the agenda? Because that's something that we can change in the procedural bylaw as well.
Even by Wednesday, give us an extra day. And
Tuesday?
sure. Okay, 7 days, that would be great. And then gives me a little more time to, if there is a topic that I need to do some research on. Because I don't like phoning people on the weekends. So if I have to, then that gives me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before, so perfect, thank you.
The next one is,
I believe we're on 20. the
20,
minutes.
yes, minutes. So this one is just a clerical one. So we've had a couple instances where we've had an election and our reeve or council members who were supposed to sign the minutes are no longer there to sign the minutes that they were at the meeting that they were at previously. And then there was election and then they're not at the next meeting. So who signs those minutes? So this just adds clarity to who signs the minutes if they're no longer in office. Is there any questions on that or, yeah,
No, I feel that makes sense.
okay. And then the next one is 21, agenda development, preparation and disbursement adjournment. Again, this is another one about those motions about adjourning the meeting that we want to take out. So a motion to adjourn the meeting shall be in order except when a member of council is in possession of the floor or when it has been decided that the vote be now taken or during the taking of a vote. So we want to take that out completely. So make it say that upon completion of all items listed on the agenda, the chair may declare the meeting adjourned without a motion.
Perfect, makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the list of things there. We could also say, notwithstanding the foregoing, no motion is required to adjourn a meeting where a quorum has been lost or the safety concern or disorder exists that makes continuation of the meeting impractical. So no further business may be conducted following adjournment. So I'll wordsmith something, but as long as we're all on the same page that we will remove the motion to adjourn out of the procedure bylaw. So adjournment time, again, we'll put that under number 20 under the minutes, that the minutes shall record the date, place, and time of commencement and time of adjournment of the meeting. It doesn't say in the MGA that you have to do this, but it is just best practice because it provides clear record of meeting duration and helps verify quorum compliance. So if we have no problem with that, we'll just add that to the procedure bylaw. The next provision is 24(5)F, general provision of motions. And again, we're taking the adjournment out of that, adjournment of a meeting. And just to note that a point of privilege, I forget what a point of privilege is, but it's a member cannot hear the proceedings, there's excessive noise or disruption, the meeting environment is unsafe or disorderly, a member's personal reputation is being improperly impunged, a member's ability to participate is impaired. So that's what the point of privilege is. Just a little information because I forgot what it was and I looked it up and I thought maybe you guys would want to know that as well. So number 31, motion to adjourn. Again, there's a lot of the motion to adjourns in this document, but we're going to make it so we don't have to have a motion to adjourn. And then notice of motion number 38, but we've decided that we're probably going to make a motion at the end of this meeting or this discussion that we're going to remove the policy 3-2 governance model. So just saying that this notice of motion wording in our procedural bylaw would need to change if we kept the governance model to correspond with that. But we've discussed earlier that we're going to remove it, so we don't need to discuss this one. Then 46, there's just a typo. There's extra words in that, so we'll get that fixed. Number 58, public conduct. Again, there's needed to be some alignment with our governance model, but that's being removed, so we don't need to do that anymore. And number 59, member conduct. That needed some alignment with the governance model, but that's being removed. So no discussion on that. And then number 60, breach of conduct, and that we need to just totally removed because we don't have a code of conduct bylaw anymore. And those were my changes that I had, unless there was anything more that council wants to discuss or wasn't discussed in my notes.
Councillor McCook?
Yeah, I think that was good. Get that cleaned up and get that governance model out of the way. Things should be aligned real good with one thing rather. This needs to be simple, not convoluted.
Yeah.
That being said, I guess when we get this all prepared again, we can have a look at it, and it's something that we can always look at. Thanks.
So do you want me just, when I bring the procedural bylaw back, that we just rescind the governance model at the same time?
Councillor Cunningham?
So I will make a motion to recommend to council to rescind Kneehill County governance model.
Thank you, Councillor Cunningham.
Councillor Whitstock?
So I'm just speaking to the motion. So what we're looking at is rescinding the current governance model. We're looking to update a governance model? Are we looking to establish another governance model, or where are we at? Or right now, I guess the motion is to rescind the one that we have, so just a little clarification.
Correct. I believe it's to rescind and remove the governance model so that we don't have contradiction between procedural bylaw and the governance bylaw.
Okay,
Any other comments? All those in favor of motion? Carried. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask if there wanted to be any more discussion on the closed session electronic means.
Yeah, we'll decide that, I think, yeah. Okay, and I guess we'll need a second motion. Oh, Councillor Cunningham?
Yeah, sorry, and you might have already went through this, but like I said, I feel a little fuzzy after a few days off. I know I've stumbled a bit with when we've had delegations and whether we need a motion to approve their presentation or whether we're just accepting. Is that in the procedural bylaw currently, or in our new model? Where we would just say we don't need a motion, it would just be except for information, it's no vote on it?
So previously, or we would have a delegation and they'd be on the agenda under appointments. And then later on in the meeting, we'd have a disposition of delegation. I think that's agenda 9. And then that's where we would make a motion. And then in the RFD, there would be the recommended motion that council could make, either to receive for information or to ask for more information, or like if it was stars and we needed you to make another motion for how much you were going to contribute, it would have like a recommended motion in there for you. So your question is is there anything in our procedure bylaw that states what we're going to do with a delegation? Because we don't have anything in there because we don't really know what the delegation, if it's for information purposes, if they're asking council for something. So that's why we don't have any, because every delegation is a different decision.
Yeah, for sure. So if it's just, like I think we talked one time, like if it's just, like for example, when STARS came this year, we were making a financial decision. It was just accepting for information. Like we said, if somebody voted against that, really, how do you do that? So So if we're having someone come and it's strictly for information, we're just, do we want to make a statement that we're accepting it, or like there's no need for a motion on that, right?
So
See how
I see where the
confused I am?
confusion has come, because with our governance model, it was stated in that document that when we receive for information, we don't make a motion anymore, that we just, the council, what is it, a council?
Council accept.
Makes acknowledgement that
Yeah.
they have received it for information. Because what happens if it got voted down? Like what are you gonna do with that? So really, you don't need a motion to acknowledge, like to receive for information. So I could wordsmith something to put into this procedural bylaw if you'd like.
I don't think it's necessary. It's just, again, because I was involved in the governance model, I felt so confused and conflicted with that. So no, it's up to you folks. But yeah, that makes it clear for me. Thank you.
Councillor McCook.
Yeah, I think we still need to have that item 9. That being said, is when we get a delegation in, we can ask them questions, we can talk about it, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to make a motion or a decision right then. And on 9, we can decide whether we're going to make a motion and/or we're going to accept for information.
Perfect. I like that.
Perfect, thank you. We still need a recommended motion. Councillor Anderson?
I move that the committee of the whole recommend to council to bring changes to the procedural bylaw as discussed today to a future county meeting.
Further discussion? Oh, sorry, Jerry, I didn't have my mic on. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. I believe we don't have any more closed session items. Two point four was, oh, right, sorry. 2.4, addition of the Committee of the Whole meeting, March 2026.
Thank you. So administration is asking that council discuss about scheduling a meeting, a committee of the whole meeting in March. We didn't actually have one planned in March because of our RMA conference. Administration is requesting that an additional meeting be added in order to allow sufficient time for discussion of transportation-related matters, which are significant and require detailed review by council. In addition, council's proposed to participate in an afternoon site visit to the county gravel pit and the Torrington landfill in conjunction with this meeting. We've got 3 dates identified here: Thursday, March 12th, Thursday, March 19th, and Tuesday, March 31st for an additional committee of the whole meeting.
And yes, hopefully it won't be snowing. And you have here the preferred date is March 12th.
That is correct.
What date, does that work for everybody else? Okay. Oh, I thought Jerry had. I guess we can make a motion to, with regards to that. Councillor Cunningham?
So I'll make the motion that the committee of the whole recommend to council that council schedule an additional committee of the whole meeting on March 12th, 2026.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, item 3, now we don't have any more closed session items. Number 4, adjournment at 10:04. Thank you.